morning, everybody, and good morning to everyone who is listening on our podcast. We hope there will be more and more of you as the day goes by. We are talking to you live today from the annual conference of the Women's Business Enterprise National Conference, the National Council, WBENC, and this is one of the most lively and most productive conferences that we attend in supplier diversity every year. We are doing something different here with this podcast. Shell is working very hard to make some changes in our supplier diversity program to have broader impact and to offer new opportunities to WBEs and MBEs across the spectrum of business owners. We are using an acronym that comes out of Shell, SHELL. We are looking to more broadly share, help WBEs and MBEs, educate. We're looking to become better listeners, and we're looking to both learn and help as we help educate. So SHELL, share, help, educate, listen, and learn. And this podcast is part of our effort in that space to share with you more broadly about our industry, to share with WBEs about the resources that are available to them, not only within Shell, but within our partners, and we'll talk a little bit more about that in a moment, and across the whole supply chain so you can better understand how to find your fit in the energy supply chain. So that's why we're here today. And the first topic and first set of guests for our podcast today is to talk about WBENC's motto, which is join forces, succeed together. And I have as my guest for this section, Debbie Hurst, who is the president of the Women's Business Council Southwest, and April Day, who is the president of the Women's Business Enterprise Alliance. The Women's Business Council Southwest is headquartered out of Dallas. And WBEA is headquartered out of Houston. So Debbie is heading up the host committee for this year's WBENC conference, which is being held here in Austin, Texas. So welcome, Debbie.
Thank you so much.
And welcome, April.
Thank you. Pleasure.
Thank you for spending some time with us this morning.
Sure, absolutely.
So what I would like to talk with you all a little bit about is joining forces and succeeding together, and what that can look like. So before we do that, maybe just a second or two, a minute or two from both of you with a little bit of history on your councils, and then I have some questions about joining forces. So Debbie, would you like to start us off for a second?
Sure. We're tickled to be the host council for the WBENC conference this year. We happen to be celebrating our 20th anniversary this year. So the Women's Business Council Southwest serves Central and Northern Texas, New Mexico, Oklahoma, and Arkansas. We have we're very proud to have been one of the founding organizations that established WBENC. We now have about 1,100 certified women business enterprises and about 80 sustaining corporate members who are involved, and are very proud to help share the state of Texas with April and the Houston Council.
April?
So we, again, like you said, and congratulations on 20 years. I think we're twins because WBA is celebrating 20 years too. We have a lot of our regional partners that are celebrating some milestones.
Yeah.
And good job today.
Thank you.
This has been an amazing conference.
We are twins.
Yes, we're twins. So I cover the lower part of Texas. So we have about 94 counties. And that represents about 760 certified women business owners, and we have about 35 corporate members. And then we're very lucky to also have an SBA-funded Women's Business Center, which brings in an additional 200 women annually that we work with in terms of helping them get launched and started and build sustainable businesses as a pipeline into certification and scalability. So we're very excited about those initiatives that we have in the community. And we're very proud of our WBEs. Our WBEs are representing about $8.9 billion in our region. And creating jobs at the level of or the tune of 48,000. So it's a good time to be a business owner, and it's a good time to join WeBank.
Thank you all so much for that introduction. So I would like to ask you a couple of questions about the idea of joining forces. You know, we've heard and we've all said that nobody gets where they want to go, especially if it's someplace big and great, by themselves.
Right.
So talk a little bit about joining forces. What is the range? Talk a little bit about the range of what joining forces might look like for WBEs. What are some of the things that are included in that concept of joining forces?
I think when we look at joining forces and succeeding together, we're really looking at sort of informal ways of doing it and formal ways of doing it. So informally, it can be anywhere from a WBE doing business with another WBE and the facilitation of that. It could also look like kind of a reach back, give back type of opportunity where WBEs are going back and mentoring other WBEs or other small business owners, all the way into formal opportunities with strategic partnerships or joint ventures. And then when you're starting to look at kind of your scalability and diversifying your services, you can even start to acquire another WBE and add to your capability. And then also looking at bidding opportunities that strengthen your platform, strengthen your market service delivery. And so going together as a team and bidding on opportunities together. I think that makes them stronger. And there's a collectivity and affinity that happens when businesses are really working together and moving toward economic prosperity.
So
I just was going to add, I think that women are naturally collaborative. And so joining forces, I think women understand that. And particularly in this network, there is an incredible enthusiasm for helping one another. And you see that on, as April said, on all levels in terms of just doing business with one another, all the way to strategic partnerships between WBEs and major corporations. There's some of those that exist as well. So all across the board.
Yes.
Can both of you talk a little bit about some of the examples that you've seen of WBEs joining forces and the value that has been added by them working together in various ways?
So one example that comes to mind is she's actually our WeBank star this year. It's Angelica Garcia Dunn, and she's the president and CEO of AIM Global Logistics. She partnered with another WBE that is Genoa International, and I thought it was very strong because they're both in heavy male-dominated industries, trucking and chemical and logistics, and they created this joint venture together, a whole new company, so that they can target a different segment, so that they can strengthen their employee base and then really create some innovative and solution opportunities for our corporations that are in the energy sector. And when we see women enter into the energy sector, especially as a joint venture or forming a new company together, we get very excited because we want to see more women in this sector. It's powerful, it's influential, and it's really, really inspiring to see such collaboration happen.
It's a great example.
Absolutely. There are many, many examples of women partnering together within all of our organizations. One that comes really quickly to mind for me is two of our WBE co-chairs for the conference this year are Techway International and TransExpedite. So Techway does recycling for major corporations, and TransExpedite is a transportation company. Techway warehouses for TransExpedite, and TransExpedite provides some transportation services for them. So it's limitless. When WBEs get together and start talking about ways that they can work, the sky's the limit. These are entrepreneurs.
Yes.
They're going to come up with the answer.
And they move, so it's not just regional expansion and capability movement, it's global. When you do this, you can make your footprint beyond your regional, beyond our national territory, and move into global waters, and we definitely want to see that happen.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for that. So, what are some of the things that a WBE should be thinking about or looking for when they're thinking about moving into some kind of a partnership or trying to expand their capabilities by joining forces?
Well, I think they first need to understand exactly what their sweet spot is, what their capabilities are, and where there are openings, not gaps, but openings in their sphere to partner, to add value, whether that be geographical capacity building, complementary kinds of services or goods, ways that expand their marketability for major corporations like Shell. And understanding what I do best as the WBE can help me identify where my strategic partnerships may lie and help direct me to those companies. So understanding who you are, what your strengths are, and I think also being really honest with ourselves about this is a risky, kind of scary process to go through. Eyes wide open.
Yes.
Really cover all your bases.
And then I like to caution them, because a lot of times when the two WBEs get together, they've been certified for so long as independent entities, and when they come together, they've got to go back and certify that entity as well. They've got to look at kind of the legal ramifications, because a lot of times the WBEs may start as, okay, it's two really good friends, or they're in similar spaces, complementary spaces, but you're still forming a company. So all of the due diligence that you do legally when you form your company, with someone you don't even know, you still need to do partnership agreements, the lot, right? And so we need to make sure that they're doing that. And then the other piece is I would say that your customers may change. You may be going into deeper integration in current customers, but then you have an opportunity to look at additional customers and what's your strategy for that. And then thirdly, truly understanding that every place that you register, for instance, if they've registered with Shell, they know they're fit with Shell, and they're ready to do business with Shell, as an independent company, when they come together, they've got to go back and still register and make those connections again, but still recognizing that they also have their own companies as well. So there's some legal pieces that I think you've got to have on the forefront when you're moving into any type of strategic partner or joint venture. And think about the scalability piece, but you also have to think about, if this joint venture is a temporary situation, then what does that liquidation look like? If you're going to sell and dissolve the company, what happens then? And so those are some pieces that you need to think about when you're moving into a joint venture or a strategic partnership.
Those are all some really, really good points, and I hope our listeners are absorbing that and really folding that into their thinking. So, what kind of resources and information do the regional affiliates and WeBank offer for WBEs who are looking for ways to join forces?
So there's a couple of things that we're doing, and I think, Debbie, we talk about this at the Leadership Council a lot in terms of what type of service delivery do we want to provide our WBEs that goes beyond the certification pieces, which is very integral, right? And you guys tell us all the time, when as a WBE, we don't lead with that certification, we lead with the value proposition, right? We lead with what the innovation is. And so I think as RPOs, we do the same thing. We don't lead in with, hey, you get certified and it's magic bullet to success, because it's not. So we have a couple of programs. We definitely partner with Goldman Sachs, 10,000 Small Business. We have a Kaufman Fast Track program. We're very lucky, like I said before, to have a women's business center. So we have subject matter experts, accountants, intellectual property, joint venture attorneys that really work with the small businesses to make sure that they're setting up right, that they're setting up for scalability, that they're setting up for valuation. And then we also partner with PTAC to ensure that they're really reaching out into those technical opportunities that exist. And then we have the one-on-one business consultations and the technical training. And it's something that a lot of our existing WBEs don't recognize, that this is a free resource that you can take advantage of. And I think even in your areas, women's business centers and SBDCs.
Absolutely.
But those organizations are there together, just like we are, to help our WBEs succeed. And so WeBank does it, join forces succeed together, and the RPOs join forces with other organizations to make sure that our businesses are succeeding.
Yeah, we have a tremendous amount of opportunities for women business owners to to participate in educational forums within our WeBank network. But as April says, those are enhanced by a much broader network that we participate with throughout the nation. So I'd like women business owners to understand that WeBank and its partners are like a gateway. We help you identify what kind of needs you have and help you make those connections. Certainly we're all about procurement with corporations, and certainly we're really bottom line access to decision makers for women-owned businesses and decision makers like you, Deborah.
Absolutely.
Well, thank you all so much. Really appreciate the time that you've taken with us this morning and the information that you've shared with all of our listeners. And I hope and I know that it will be valuable to them and really help them to understand how to access those resources and think about joining forces. So thank you so much, Debbie and April.
Well,
Thank you, Deborah.
And, I think we have our next guest lined up.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you.